DAO Watch, episode 23, Languages and Upgrades, featuring Insure Defi. Yep, in this episode, we take a look at Dash, who have got a language-based proposal. We then look at PIVX, who have got a language-based proposal. And we look at Juno, who is our representative from the Cosmos ecosystem in this episode. And they have got no, they haven't got a language-based proposal. They've got an upgrade that we need to have a look at. We're discussing how to interact with DAOs as opposed to whether or not to interact with them. So really, the main takeaway from this episode is seeing how much value you can add to your DAO that you really like. How much value can you bring to the table? Because, you know, it's one thing to buy these tokens, but it's another thing to actually add value. And that's really where we want to be. We want to be adding value to the DAOs that we like. And that way, you know, we add value adds number go up, we all get rich. That's not financial advice, by the way, but it definitely does help to get involved. The special guest at our DAO this episode is Insure Defi. It's a DAO I've not personally used, but it's a very interesting system that they've got there, very interesting protocol. The analysis doesn't quite go to plan, ends up being a little bit awkward, but still glad that I done it. So yeah, shout out to all the Insure DeFi fans, all the Dash fans, all the Pivians, and all the Juno Nauts. Okay, enjoy. Okay, hello, let's get this started. And today's special guest DAO is a project called Insure Defi. Now, this is a concept that I am actually quite new to, and it's a concept of insurance within DeFi. The way it works, I'll briefly go over it as I understand it. The way it works is that everybody pulls their money into this big insurance basket. And if you get wiped out for a number of reasons, you get to pull the value of your wiped outedness from the pool. Very much the way that regular insurance works. However, there are some stipulations. So the projects that get insured, they have to be put forward they have to be listed on 2 centralized exchanges, exchanges like Binance or Kraken or any of those. There are smaller ones as well, but they have to be on 2 of those. And the value of the project has to have dropped by over 98%. So you have to literally really get rugged, and it has to be a decent sized project. So I think there's one more stipulation, that the project can't have an APR over 100%. So one of those ones, like, it can't be one of those projects where you should have seen it coming. Anyway, that's Insure. That's the project we're going to look at a little bit later on when it comes to our guest project. But before that, we have the usual suspects, which are Dash, PIVX, and Juno. We always choose a different project from the Cosmos ecosystem. This time around, it will be Juno. Let me just move my mic a little bit further away, as I seem to be picking up quite loud. So let's get started, and let's get started with Dash. Now, before we actually look at the Dash proposal that we're going to look at, which is going to be this one, which looks like it's now passing. Before that, let's look at the DAO tutorials. And this is my own proposal, which I put in. At the time of recording this, it looks like there's 10 days until voting is closed, and I am very close to passing. So maybe I just need a little push over the line. So if you're a Dash Masternode owner and you like this content, give me a yes vote. I've had a few more no votes. I've got 19 no votes, 344 yes votes. So a lot of people are feeling what I'm putting out. 21 abstain votes. We've had a few questions, most of them saying pretty much the same thing. Oh, we should make tutorials for platform, but it's kind of difficult to make tutorials for something that's not finished. So I haven't quite done that yet. I've got some nice support from Lysergic. Anyway, we looked at this proposal in the last episode. So that's my proposal. And yeah, if you know any masternode owners, please do me a favor and get them to vote for it. The one we want to look at today, however, is, before we do actually, let's briefly touch on the reallocation proposal, which I think may have failed, and it may even have been vanished. The Encuentro one is still there, and this is the problem: 25 months remaining. It's going to be here for a long time. This was a really bad proposal by its demo. Dash Italia is still there. Market Hub affiliate bounty is still there. 10 months remaining. Oh, I can't see it. It doesn't seem to be there anymore. But there was a proposal to reallocate the funds which don't get created. But we will, you know what, I'll make a separate video just for that. Let's look at this proposal. And this proposal has come in from the Russian-speaking community. And basically, the proposal is for 20 Dash, which is around $527 at the time of recording. And it's for them to do a little bit more promotion within the Russian community. Interestingly enough, this proposal has already passed 388 yes votes, 8 no votes, 5 abstains. It looks like, in comparison to my own proposal, that this one has really galvanized the spirit of some heavy hands, as this was absolutely rifled through. It is quite a low amount that they're asking for, so I would say that it's one of those ones where it's very difficult to say no on such a small amount. What people did say to me was that if it's a small amount like this, they can go to Incubator and get funding directly from them without having to go through the proposal process. I personally feel that they're better off actually going through the proposal process, because then it gets out to a lot more people who aren't looking into what Incubator are doing. For example, I haven't looked into what Incubator are funding or have been funding over the last few months. So this was the only way I would have found out about this. So here we go. What do they want to do? First and most importantly, they want to let people know about Dash through social networks. I guess this doesn't take that much explaining what they're going to do, really. They want to market Dash, but in Russian. So I've come through and I've commented. Okay, perfect. I've commented, looks like a good proposal. I also create Dash-based content, and it will be good if I could have it translated into Russian, or if you could share it with the Russian community, as some of them may speak English. Just because they speak Russian doesn't mean they can't also speak English. I would assume if it's a Russian-speaking community specifically around speaking Russian, it would be better for them if the content that I create either has subtitles or they could dub it into Russian for me. Either way, I feel it's important, very important, that my content gets across language barriers. So we get into, like I said before, into people who are from different backgrounds and have different ways of thinking. So if we can get proposals from those people, great. The fact that this has come through from them, brilliant. Really like it. Some people have asked for adoption metrics, which is interesting. It's an interesting thing to ask for. It's something that I would say is very important when you're putting forward a proposal that's to do with marketing. The problem with metrics is that often they may not show the whole picture, and sometimes they may show a bit more than what's actually happening. In this situation, with this proposal, I feel like it's got some very clear, some very obvious, some very clear plus points, which are that it reaches out to a huge community, Russian-speaking communities, not just people in Russia, but also people in neighboring countries who also will speak Russian better than they'll speak English. Reaching out to those sorts of people, I think, is very, very important. Also, I like the fact that this person is not brand new. As they said, they've been there since 2019, I believe. Since 2019, which is a good 4 years. That's an entire cycle. entire bull run and bear run. They've got experience, and they clearly lay out also where they want to put their efforts. The fact that they're going for things such as Telegram and VK, which is, I guess, different to what the English speakers would go for, which would be Twitter and Instagram. TikTok is also big for the Russian-speaking community, apparently, and so is another platform called Likey. Who'd have known? So maybe I need to consider, actually, when I'm promoting my own things, consider promoting to the Russian-speaking community. Getting translation done with AI now is quite easy, so I could probably do that and get the subtitles done in Russian and then post it on these particular sites. So let's conclude on this one, because it's quite a straightforward one for me. The amount they're asking for is quite small. The person's experienced, that they know not only the product well, but they'll know their own community well. So for me, it's definitely a yes. It also, a point that no one's really made is that it gives you a point of contact. So if I want to engage the Russian speaking community for any reason, let's say we have a Russian-based exchange, or an exchange that is heavily in the Russian-based community, and we get a listing there, it's all well and good promoting that to the English-speaking people, but the people who we really want to promote that to is the Russian-speaking people. So with those sorts of onboarding opportunities, it's good to have a point of contact to push those towards. So it would be interesting if the business development team, which they haven't, but if the business development team popped up here and said, thank you for doing this, please give us your contact details. If we have anything that is particularly Russian oriented, we will put it towards you guys, or we'll involve you guys in the process. Nothing like that has happened, unfortunately, but I am often quite critical of the Dash business development team. So this is just another reason for me to be critical of them. Me personally, I already have reached out to Vonnie, the proposal owner, so I will try to use them as my point of contact to get my story out to Russian-speaking Dash users. And I think that would be good for other proposal owners also to consider that. If you're pushing forward your own proposal, consider who are the points of contact. The cons, the negative points about this proposal, I would say, is that there is a lack of metrics. There aren't any metrics here, and it's not entirely obvious which metrics he will bring forward, or he or she they will bring forward as and when they have them. So that's a little bit up in the air, which is not ideal, but it's by no means a deal breaker. And finally, there does seem to be some negative comments from some quite well-known people. It's mostly its demo again, who's can be a difficult individual, I guess, but he does raise some good points. And what he does raise, the point that he does raise, is that the other proposals that were put forward and were supported by this group that he's identified, whether or not it's accurate is another story, but a lot of them haven't done very well. So I guess that's another thing that really we need to keep an eye on. This guy, he is very negative. But this is really the one that got me was this comment by Quizzy. And to my knowledge, this is where it helps to have a decent understanding of some of the key talkers in a community. To my knowledge, he is a lot more of a moderate voice. Quizzy is a lot more of a moderate voice. And he's pointed out that it's easy to get 284 votes when you have two major Russian masternode whales behind you. Now, I don't know if this is a good thing or a bad thing. The fact that the Russian masternode whales respect what this guy is doing could be taken as a sign that this guy actually knows the Russian people. If I turn around and say, well, I'm going to put out a proposal, I'm going to reach the Russian people, and the actual Russian masternode owners don't back me, then the question would be, well, who's to say that I actually have any contact with the Russian community? So I'm not sure this is a bad thing that he's immediately been backed by Russian-speaking masternode owners, or if they're just simply saying, yes, it's about time that Dash put some funds towards promoting it our neck of the woods. So at first glance, I guess this does seem like a negative comment, but I think if we look at it a little bit deeper, we can say Russian masternode owners backing this particular proposal is probably a good sign. Lysergic, who is generally happy chappy and generally positive, has come in and just shed a little bit more light. But either way, it's an interesting discussion, and I think that they missed the point. And I may point it out that maybe they've missed the point. I might point it out now, actually. Isn't it a... Oops. Well, that's not worked. This will work. Hold on. Let's point it out now. Isn't it a vote of confidence that Russian masternode owners think this is a valuable way to reach Russian potential Dash users? I see this as a good sign, more than a bad one. I'm sure there are English-speaking whales backing my proposals also. Right, isn't it a vote of confidence that Russian masternode owners think this is a valuable way to reach Russian potential Dash users? Okay, right. So for me, this one's a yes. I like it. I like the fact that Dash gets to go out into Russia with a little bit of money behind it. I think the world doesn't revolve around Europe and America, and this is a good thing for a potential worldwide currency. So for me, this one is a simple yes. And let's move on. And on the subject of languages, once again, let's go straight into PIVX, and we are looking at this proposal by Elena C. I was going to say Elenac, but it's definitely Elena C. From Venezuela, who has put forward a proposal for development of social networks and construction of the PIVX community in Spanish. Now, this is more like a, let's say, reimagining of a proposal which was active before. I remember in years gone by, the Spanish PIVX channels were active. They were making videos, as you can see here. She is smiling, looking happy, and these were being produced before. Wanzetti was a supporter of this, and Wanzetti is one of the PIVX. I almost say PIVX original. He was in really early. Anyway, this, very similar to the one we just looked at, is a proposal really to get the PIVX into the Spanish-speaking community. Now, I feel like what would be great is if we also had a Russian-speaking proposal in PIVX, and we also had a Spanish-speaking proposal in Dash. I feel like these sorts of proposals are very, very good. It's all well and good me going and clicking on some, crypto bro and him telling me all about PIVX, but I feel like for Spanish-speaking people, they want to be spoken to by a person from their community in not only a tone, but in ways that speak directly to them, and about topics that speak directly to them, and understanding what are the key elements of a privacy coin for people in that part of the world, or people who speak that language, even if they are in separate parts of the world. It's a diaspora of Spanish speakers. Some of them will be in Europe, some of them will be in South America, some of them will be in North America, some of them will be in Africa. They are spread far and wide. This one, they're asking for 3,000 PIV per month, which I believe is maybe $500. Yep, $500 per month, give or take, for 3 months. So it's $1,500, which is, it's not massive. Another thing about these sorts of proposals is the money seems to go a lot further in this part of the world. $1,500 won't get you much in England, but will get you quite a lot in Venezuela. If you've got this woman who has got clearly years and years of experience of this technology, both using it and promoting it. So for me, it's a steal. We know who she is. I recognize her face, although I don't think I've ever spoken to her before. I've definitely never met her. I might have spoken to her in the Discord, but I'm really happy. I'm really proud and pleased that she's come back to do something like this. So for me, it's a yes. The only possible negative is that the social media channels that they do have, or that they have had in the past, have had quite poor metrics. Now, I'm not sure if that's because there's never any promotion for these channels in the main PIVX channel. So the main PIVX Twitter, how often will they promote the Spanish speaking things? And I feel like maybe that is something that hinders them. Also, how much collaboration is there? I've made PIVX videos. I haven't collaborated with them, and I've gone and promoted my videos, but I haven't bothered to collaborate with them and say to them, can you put my videos on your channel, etc., etc. So I feel like there's a double-edged sword to their lack of engagement. I feel like some of the Spanish-speaking people definitely also speak English and will be following the English channels and not have been pushed towards the Spanish channels. They may not know the Spanish channels exist. This sort of thing also helps with getting Spanish proposals put in. From my own selfish point of view, I want to see more proposals. So I think this is great. I love that she's known. She's got the support of Wanzetti, who is, for me, like I said before, one of the originals. He's one of the probably most respected members of the community. He's always been a very ardent and steadfast supporter of the project, which has been important through multiple series, through multiple bull markets and bear markets. I've also commented on this. I said, yes, from me, I'd love to have the DAO tutorial videos given Spanish subtitles or voiceover. Spanish speaking community is huge, so we will be trying to reach out. We should be trying to reach out there and also collaborate with content in both directions. So that's another point. The last point I'll make actually is that when this woman is making these videos, she's probably kicking a lot of knowledge, and she's probably saying things that English-speaking people would like to hear and would like to digest. So it would also be good if not only that we converted the English content into Spanish, but also that we converted the Spanish content into English. Now imagine if there's a Spanish-speaking guy who makes real good content about how to develop the DAO, but he does it in Spanish. I would want to hear that. So the cross promotion and the collaboration should go in both directions. I think that's enough for that one. Like I said, this one's a yes from me. I'm definitely going to vote yes on it. I need to do that soon because I'm quite sure that we're running out of time to vote in this cycle on Dash. So I'll need to do that in PIVX, sorry. So I'll need to do that soon. The next proposal we're going to look at is going to be Juno. Now, Juno is a project that has a terrible price, yet still it's a really good project, a really interesting project to me. Crypto can be like that. People always complain and say, it's the projects that aren't really doing anything that are the ones that have got massive values. And often there are projects which are doing things which don't have massive values. Juno is one of those projects which they are doing things, but they just cannot stop sliding in price. That doesn't bother me because, I came for the revolution. I stayed for the profits. So for me, I still like Juno, which is why I'm still covering it. Proposal 317 is basically the way Juno works is that when they make an upgrade, it has to be passed on chain. This upgrade is for Vesta version 17. And as you can see, voting ends tomorrow. as of this video being released. So the day after, well, a few hours after this gets released, maybe 6 or so hours after this gets released. And, you know, it's already got 99.56% of yes votes, which I find quite interesting because there is one major issue I have with this proposal, which nobody else seems to care about. First of all, let's see what it is. Luckily, they've included release notes. So there are some major changes. We've got this drip module, clock module, and 3-second block times. Block times were previously 6 seconds, so they have been squeezed down to 3 seconds. That should mean that you should get confirmation of things quicker, well, twice as quick. However, there may be some negative side effects which haven't really been discussed or said, talked about here. If 3-second block times were perfectly safe, why weren't they implemented in the original release of Juno? This X-Strip module I thought was quite interesting. I'm not sure I might be able to pull it up. Yeah, here we go. X-Strip is a module that allows a specific set of addresses decided by governance, such as smart contracts, DAOs, or any other entity, to distribute native tokens at every block together with standard Juno staking rewards. So it's just a way for you to drip feed payments out to people. It's a nice new feature. Not sure quite why it needed to be written into the blockchain itself. I guess it's I'm not really sure. I'm not really sure why they needed this. Not really sure. Either way, it's been tested. They like it. It's going in. Now, the issue I've got, which has been touched upon. Oh, where was it touched upon? It was one of these three. I'm not sure if it was the X-Strip or the X-Clock. Might have been the X-Clock. Well, I can't remember which one it was. But one of the features that they added to this upgrade, they couldn't actually test. They couldn't actually test it on testnet, so they've had to just add it to mainnet. I'm not a massive fan of that because what if it doesn't work? What if there's an issue? What if it introduces an exploit or a vulnerability? So that's the one negative part about this particular proposal, but no one seems to care. And a lot of these people are much more qualified than I am. So I guess the problem is minimal, but you know, I kind of don't think it is. Anyway, let's hope that it is. I like the fact also, if we go back to the release notes, if we look down here, it does also introduce 3 new contributors. Now, that means, can we call them devs? They might be. Depends what their contribution is, to be fair. That one looks like a developer. We can just quickly look and see what they've done. This one look. Oh, he may not be. This one may not be a developer. So far we've got, well, it may be the same person with new names, but it looks like there are new developers joining, which is always a good thing. This Joel Smith has come in with this one, fixed 17 upgrade package name. So there are also new contributors popping up, which is another, like, it's just a good thing. I guess it's not really, is it a direct point of this proposal? I guess so. Yes. What I would like to see is, with this proposal, I'd like to see a request for payment for some of these people who have contributed here. I know they're probably being paid out of the funds that the core devs have to pay with. I think it would be nice if that was done transparently and came from here, and then I guess the core devs could put their money towards other things. I think that would be nice. Everybody says yes. Everybody likes this, and I'm with them. I'm also saying yes. So This one is a very simple yes from me. I would have liked if they could have tested everything, but the nice new features that they're adding, I think, are quite important for Juno's progress. I like it that they've documented things pretty well in their GitHub, and I like it that there's new contributors coming on board. So for me, it's a yes. If you feel differently, please tell me why. Can't see why you would feel differently. Or put your comments in the description below, or the comment section below. You can't put your comments in the description. That's only for me. Finally, the last one, the last man standing, which is Insure DeFi. Now, this project I really, really do like. Let's see if we can go into the dashboard. It wants me to connect my wallet, which should I do? Yeah. Let me just connect my wallet. But you won't be able to see this because you can only see my window. If I connect the wallet. Excuse me, this shouldn't take this long. Let me see what the problem here is. What's the problem here? Maybe I need to go to Ethereum mainnet. Let's see. Okay. So connect wallet. There we go. We're going to take all this time to connect the wallet and it's going to show me absolutely nothing. Yeah. Well, it just shows me how much insurance I have on this platform. And obviously I have none. You can see my wallet address. But yeah, you get 3 different types. You get from scammers, devaluation, and stolen funds. And the main one, I guess, people will really want to get paid out from is devaluation. That's when you get rugged, basically. You should know what rugged means. You can use this across a number of networks. So it works on Ethereum, BSC, Polygon. BSC is Binance Smart Chain, Polygon, Avalanche, and Q Network. With these sorts of things, there's always one really random EVM that it supports. Q token, never heard of it. Not to worry. Okay, so the way their DAO works, the proposals we're going to be looking at is that when you want to put forward a claim, if the let's say powers that be, if the powers that be don't want to accept the claim, they put forward a counter proposal. So, for example, there's 3 proposals been put forward here, look to be all by the same person. Let's take this one, for example. We'll do the union one. What they're saying is, I've put my money into this, $120, and it's been devalued. Should say what's happened. Yep, it's lost more than 98% of the value, and now my crypto is only worth 56 cents. So yeah, that's wrecked for sure. Really wrecked. Really, really wrecked. So he would like to claim $119. Okay, fair enough. So when the protocol doesn't want you to claim it, they will reply. So here's the reply. So here's the follow-up. Now, the follow-up is a proposal that says that the current price is 19 cents, which is less than 90% valuation. So the insurance policy only covers you if you lose over 98%. So if you only lose 90%, you want to hope that it goes down a little bit more, so at least you can claim. In addition, there's also some other criteria that weren't met, in that the token itself wasn't listed. It's only listed on one centralized exchange and not 2. It doesn't have a listed audit on CoinMarketCap either. So because these criteria were not met, what they're saying is that this payout should not be met, so you shouldn't. And then they've included the ticket or the request for the payout that was originally put in. Now, I'm not quite sure if this doesn't work fully with Snapshot or what, but for whatever reason, it doesn't show the score of the vote. And the choices are understood and thank you. So I guess it's just their way of replying. You can't actually vote and say whether or not you want to or you believe this is the way it should be. Well, that's interesting. That's interesting. Okay, well, do you know what? That kind of puts the spanner in the works of the whole point in trying to look at this proposal. It's a little bit awkward. It's never actually happened to me before. So basically what they use their DAO for is just to let people know. I guess it does put it on chain, to let people know that they're not going to get paid out. I had assumed that it would allow people to counter argue, but that's not the case. Probably should be the case, but it's not. Either way, that is Insure. It's an interesting project. I like it. I think it might do well in the future. I think that's definitely one part of the project that I would say needs some refining. Interestingly enough, I think that's one part of the project that I would say needs some refining. But other than that, it's a good project, and I'm really glad that I looked into it. The reason why I picked it, actually, I will also divulge. The reason why I picked it was because on CoinGecko, it had a really big bump. So I looked at the DAOs that had the biggest uptick, and when I looked, I saw this massive balloon. So I thought, you know what, this looks like an interesting project. Let's go and have a look at it. Interestingly enough, the Insure token itself isn't featured on two exchanges. Let's check on CoinMarketCap. Let's check on CoinMarketCap, because if it's the requirement that the Insure token needs to be on, that any of the ones that they're insuring needs to be on two centralized exchanges, yet the Insure DeFi token itself doesn't seem to be on two centralized exchanges. Let's see. Let's check. This will be interesting. No, it's not. It's on one. Bilaxi. So how's that for irony? Anyway, I've been CryptoSI, and this has been DAO Watch episode 23. Languages, I forget the name. This episode is called Languages and Upgrades, featuring Insure DeFi. Thanks for watching. It's been a great one. The moral of the story, or the key takeaway today, is to try to bridge the gap of languages. Try to involve yourself with people who don't speak your language as best you can. I know it's difficult to communicate with people when you don't share a common language, but try to find the gatekeepers to different communities and try to interact with them, because if we work together, we work better. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and to share this if you've reached the ends. Congratulations. If you're a member of the Insure community, then make sure you share it amongst yourselves and just say, you know, this incredibly knowledgeable guy looked at our project and stated that really we need to use the DAO to possibly double check on whether or not a insurance claim should get knocked back. It did seem pretty black and white, to be fair, from what had been put on there, but I can see with this 98% down number, I can see that being an issue, because if a project does go down to zero or go down very much, it can only take small amounts, and there will be spreads on these centralized exchanges. There will be spreads if you've lost 98%. So I do feel that that 98% might be a bone of contention for some people and shouldn't be a hard and fast rule. Juno, keep an eye on that project. I'm not sure it will come back price-wise for the next market, but I feel like the guys who are there and doing things may go on to somewhere else and do great things. So definitely keep an eye on that. Really good things happening there. Check out my book called The Ultimate DAO Handbook. It's for sale on Amazon, Kindle only. And yeah, I will see you very, very soon. Make sure you support my Dash proposal as well, because we want to get that one over the line. All right, thank you. Peace.